You are about to be teal therapied. You are watching Pucknology After Dark. Oh my god, they stuck again. Welcome to this edition of Pucknology After Dark, following another Sharks choke job, 4-3 over the worst team in the NHL. Oh my god, it's like there's an echo in this room. That's right, because there is. The Sharks keep fucking up shit again. To be a part of the show, show it, Landy. Come on. Follow us on Twitter at Pucknology, at PuckGuy14, at AJ_Strong, at all of them. Use the hashtag Pucknology After Dark to ask questions or comment about the show. You can also join on the YouTube chat and chat with us there. All I gotta say is this, and I'm gonna say this before I introduce the panel. 2 games in, we heard that the Sharks are back, that they're back and they're gonna be a cup contender. Pretty much 2 months later, they look like the worst team in the NHL, and somehow they're hanging on to a second-place spot in the Pacific Division. I don't know how many times we have to go through this every fucking time where we have to just sit on our asses and just do. Oh, we got this, guys. It's the worst team in the league. Oh, it's the worst power play in the league. Oh, they won't score on us. Oh, how did that get in? Oh, and then on 3-on-3 overtime, rather than just trying to push it towards the net in overtime and try to get some shots on goal, no, we turn around to wait for the line change, because that didn't cost us in the first goal of the game where we had another horrible line change. No! Heaven forbid we do that. Let's just give them the puck, and then we'll let Bernsey just, let's just sprawl. Oh, maybe my big size will stop the puck. Yeah, okay, that's great. You know what? Guys, for love of God, play like you want to win the game.
Yeah.
Play like you want to win the game.
I think we were having some technical issues to start off the podcast, so if you guys want to be part of the show, use the chat or use one of these Twitter handles and use the hashtag Pucknology After Dark. I'm sure Eric will be happy to read on air your questions and go off. So it's just one of those nights.
Introducing the panel, there's Eric Landy, AJ Strong.
Didn't get any fucking popcorn. I should have had some for that.
Chow down on it, buddy. Chow down. Because the Sharks aren't chowing down on opponents. And with us tonight, Ian Reed.
Yeah, I guess I have to be the calm one tonight, so this should be interesting.
You could be like the Kevin Bacon in Animal House. Remain calm. All is well. Yeah, if all is well in Sharkland, I don't know what you're smoking. All right, guys, your initial thoughts about this shit-tacular shit that the Sharks dropped on us tonight. We'll start with AJ Strong. Take it away.
I mean, they came out slow again. They had their spots, but it also goes to now that they are 1-7 without a top 4 defenseman. Once again, pointing out how bad this defense is. Not to mention how badly they played defense tonight. And then, of course, we still haven't heard what happened to Logan Couture, who was mysteriously absent for basically the second half of the game. So you've gone to Alberta and lost to 2 of the worst teams that, funnily enough, play in your own division. 4 points there for you. You give up 4 points, get a charity point. It was just another one for the ages, and I want to hear what Ian has to say.
Well, I mean, here's the thing that everyone's saying. These are the worst teams. These are the worst teams. Those teams are separated from the Sharks before this game started, by 4 points. So I think that because the Sharks are sitting in second, we kind of overvalue how good this team actually is, because Edmonton could go on a streak and they could be in the playoffs in a week.
Which I predicted in our season preview show.
Now, I'm not saying that's going to happen, but I mean, this specific division, aside from LA, that's completely just run away with the division, Everyone else is garbage. I mean, the Sharks, yeah, they're in second in the Pacific. They're 18th before tonight's games, 18th overall in the entire league as far as standings go. Maybe we should stop being so surprised by this. I don't know.
Well, we have a little bit of breaking news from Twitterverse. Let's Go Sharks just dropped a bomb on Jamie Baker. He says, that's not bad defense. This is from Jamie Baker. And then Let's Go Sharks says, dude gets paid to heap that on a smack in my head. And Jamie Baker responds, so I'm wrong in calling a bad change a mental mistake versus bad defense. And come say to my face, I'm a tool. I'd welcome it. Mr. Baker firing back.
Wow. You're, that is something you're not going to get if you have Drew, because he never did Twitter except for that brief few weeks. But, boy, man, when you're starting to see like the broadcasters get into it and your insider get into it on Twitter, I mean, everything's just, the wheels have come off, ladies and gentlemen. And I do want to at least laugh and kind of discuss just for a second the fact that in the opening, even earlier today, the @CSN Sharks Twitter account was asking for fan feedback about the lack of, organizational defense, lack of depth, and it's like, welcome to the party, guys. We've been driving that bus since like February 2014. Well, hell, February.
Since we started the damn thing.
Yeah, I mean, Jesus Christ. So, like, welcome to the party, guys. And, just looking at this, and, wow, wasn't DeMello fantastic tonight? I mean, holy fuck, guys.
Holy fuck indeed.
You know what? What pisses me off is that you have Burns as your defenseman out on 3-on-3. And we've all talked about his defensive missteps and miscues and all of that. So why would you put him out there as the lone defenseman in 3-on-3? It's fine if you want to stack him and Thornton together forward-wise, or use him as a hybrid defenseman, kind of rover kind of position. That's fine, and get Martin out there. You cannot have him be the sole. Well, you just can't have him as a sole defenseman because he's going to drop to the ice every fucking time he gets in trouble. Every time.
The first thing that popped into my head when I saw the start of 3-on-3, when I saw it was Thornton, Pavelski, and Burns, the first thing in my mind was, well, it would have been nice to put a defenseman out there for the start.
But I see what they were trying to do and trying to get the offensive capability. But then you have Joe Thornton. Oh, I'm going to skate. Oh, I'm looking for the pass. I'm looking for the pass. Shoot the damn puck! What are you going to do? You don't win games by passing the puck. You don't win games by turning around and waiting for the line change and just do like this in the background.
Thornton looked awful tonight. He was directly responsible for one of those scores where you had. I mean, he easily could have. He just made the wrong play in his own end, and it led to essentially a 3-on-2 where Martin was that was just bad all around. Martin on that snipe, that wicked backhand snipe that caught Pavelski. Martin overplayed that. He came in on the wrong side. It was just the defense looked awful tonight. But Thornton was a fucking tire fire tonight.
Yeah, probably one of his worst games in TL.
Some real information. According to Peter DeBoer, Logan Couture has a lower body injury. So what fucking insight that is, but you got to figure he re-aggravated the break.
Yeah, Fishelka said lower body injury. Wanted to keep it. That didn't sound too promising, which is fucking fantastic.
Yeah, you know what? I mean, at this point, you've got to now start looking at options, and I'm talking big options where you've got to maybe think about parting with one of the big two, because this lack of defense, this team is not going to go anywhere. You figure you've got maybe a year and a half left, and it's time you net a defenseman for the future, because I don't think Burns is that player.
But the problem is that they have no movement clauses, And we heard Jumbo when they're talking about the 10th anniversary of his trade. I love it here. This is where I want to be. You're telling me that he's not. He's going to be up. Oh, I changed my mind. It's not going to happen.
Or
Jumbo's
the other thought I had was maybe you move Burns. And the reason why I say that is because he's in his prime. He's a good offensive threat, but you know how bad he is on defense, and you could net a real big fish coming the other way.
But the problem is you're trading a defenseman for
A defenseman. A real defenseman.
But you still need that punch from the blue line. Trading Burns. I mean, here's the problem. I mean, even if let's say you shore up the D somehow by trading one of the big two, are the Sharks really that much closer? Like, I think that you just, as much as I hate to say it, I mean, because I appreciate we don't have our first round pick, but don't you just ride this out and not, I mean, because the worst thing you'd want to do now is trade assets for nothing. You know what I mean? Trade assets for that could be something in the future, and then you trade assets for what? To still get bombed out the second round best? Like, because that's what this team is. This is a first, second round team and out depending on who they play in the first round.
I at this point I don't know what you do. I mean, because you're not. I mean, you can't make a garbage for garbage trade here. You know, there's not enough cap liquidity in the bottom six to shore up any kind of, or to get any kind of cap back.
Yeah.
And so, what do you do? I mean, I was so wrapped up in this. I was like, well, maybe the Sharks should put a claim in on Mark Fane. It's gotten that bad.
Yeah, but then again, where's the cap space going to come from?
Right, exactly. So I mean, at this point, I don't know what the hell you do, but it's bad. I mean,
no, this is the epitome of Sharks hockey right now. This is exactly where we're at, because just think about this for a second. This is so Sharks in that if Wilson stays pat, we just sit here, we just wait until Vlasic gets healthy, Couture gets healthy, Torres suspension ends, all that shit, and of course now we've got wall-to-wall forwards available because we've signed Zubris, so you've got wall-to-wall forwards. If they stay with the status quo with this tire fire of a defense and they don't make the playoffs, Wilson is gone. If Wilson makes a move and somehow finds a way to move Thornton, I can't imagine what defensive help is going to come back in that trade. I'd like to see it. Show me the team that is just overrun with top four defensemen. But if we can
trades top four defensemen, that's the other thing. Like, no one trades them.
Exactly. So what you're going to get out of that, the most I can say is maybe you get some high picks for somebody that you try to get them to overpay for Thornton. But either way, chances are if you move Thornton and you don't get a player that can play now that can contribute, and you have the option of trying to solidify this or put out this tire fire of a defense, then it comes down to, well, then the Sharks will probably miss the playoffs anyway, and Wilson gets fired. So, I mean, this is the perfect double-edged sword.
Well, it was interesting because I was listening to the Merrick vs. Wyshynski podcast the other day, and they were talking that because the ownership is so enigmatic, we don't know anything about them really, and they kind of got the impression that Wilson is their point guy, is Hasso's point guy for hockey. And so Wilson is kind of the guy that's feeding Hasso all the information. So I don't necessarily think that Wilson gets fired. I think Wilson gets promoted to...
He becomes Kevin Lowe.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And so then there's somebody else. So you're still going to have the problem of Wilson overlooking every pick, Wilson looking at every trade. So I don't think you're going to be able to get rid of him that easily.
And Chris kind of nailing it on the Google chat, just saying, the Sharks aren't going to get better until they can learn how to actually draft and develop talent. And it's so true. We talked about it yesterday, talking about making the analogy to the San Francisco Giants and what they've brought up through their system. And the Sharks just...
Yeah.
Holy crap.
Slushy Jake commenting in... Well, his first question is, why aren't we calling up Goodrow? And Slushy, that's a great question. I don't know. I mean, you've
We
heard
need grit on that fourth line. I mean, grit is what's going to take us to the cup.
No,
Right,
but
Curse?
and the other question he was asking was, why not try and land Tyson Barrie from the Avalanche? I'd love Tyson Barrie, but the Avalanche are giving him up. I mean, and not for what we could give back.
No, it's just as we were saying. There are just certain positions in sports that if you can build from the draft, it's going to be huge, and it's going to allow you to make other moves and bring in the right people. And just as they've stated several times, it starts on the back end. Defense wins championships. You need defense. Look at the teams that have won the cup over Chicago, stellar fucking defense. LA, pretty goddamn good defense. You look at what is happening, and
Yeah,
we can't be questioning this. It's they can't develop fucking defensemen, for fuck's sakes.
What really?
One of your top pairings, they're not defensemen that came in through your system. They're ones that you had to go out and trade for. And let's be honest, Burns and Martin, not their greatest game tonight by any fucking stretch.
No, and I mean, I don't know what we can expect with Martin going forward, because he is kind of older, and his speed was never his forte. So I just he is the Burns whisperer, but there's only so much he can do, right? I mean, he can't work miracles, every night. What kind of really pissed me off though was when Ryan Suter went up for UFA, and the Sharks did not try and put more of a push on for him. I remember.
Well, it's a simple thing. Doug doesn't do more than 5 years on a contract, and so that's it. They didn't even bother trying.
Yeah, because I mean, I remember
that though. I mean, that's just speculation.
Isn't Dylan signed for 6?
Dylan is 1, 2, 3, 4. No, 5.
5.
Yeah,
He has the same amount as Braun.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I mean, I just remember watching the interview with Drew and Gary Suter, and he's like, "Oh, my little nephew is coming up for UFA. Doug should give him a call." And I was like, "Yeah, he should.
He should, but he doesn't. He's too afraid of those long-term deals."
In the Google chat saying Suter wanted to go to Minnesota.
He wanted to go to Minnesota anyway, and that's 100% true.
He did, but if the Sharks would have anteed up more money, he would have gone where the money went. Don't kid yourself in thinking that he wouldn't have taken more money he wouldn't have gone to the Sharks if he wouldn't take more money.
Yeah, but then you get Wilson again on the fucking firing line for once again spending way too much money.
I don't know. I'd rather
get nothing out of it.
I don't know. I'd rather have a cornerstone defenseman than
I get you, but
I agree,
there's no one that you can. When you look just in production and whatnot, I doubt that you'd find. And just comparing, as we've stated before, when you compare the Sharks' defense to other defenses in the Pacific Division, and you look at how the money is divvied out, Dylan right now and Braun to a certain extent, incredibly overpaid, especially Dylan. Way overpaid.
A combined 7. Let me look back up here. Combined $7.07 million for those two.
Yeah, well, exactly. You're not going to find anybody who doesn't think Dylan is not overpaid. You'd be hard pressed. I mean, tell me the guy who falls into the 5th slot, a third pair defenseman making over $3 million, because Dylan is the only one I know of. Now, I'm not saying that there aren't any. I'm just saying, holy crap! That if there's another one, then he's probably way overpaid too.
I don't know. I mean, I'll go through general furniture while you guys talk and try to find a 5-6 pairing. I mean, I know is Boyle a 5-6 in the Rangers?
Shit, he's not even. He couldn't even crack the lineup for a little while.
Yeah, but I want to try to at least try to compare apples to apples a bit more. You're talking about, a guy who's 24, 25, still trying to find his way versus, a guy who's a year or
likely
less
retiring
from leaving. Yeah.
Sure, but my point is that he's a 5'6", getting paid, millions of dollars, and has accomplished a hell of a lot more than Dylan has.
Yeah, no, that I'll
had a
give
whole
you.
career to
That's the
do
whole
so.
thing. That's the whole thing. Is I'm sorry, but I wouldn't have the least bit of a problem having Dan Boyle as the Sharks' sixth defenseman right now.
He
Wouldn't have a problem with
he
that.
wanted too much money. That's crazy
Yeah,
talk.
no,
That's hindsight silliness.
Well, not only
yeah.
that, but he just dropped off after that Lapierre hit.
Oh
and-
yeah, no, he
and
totally did. But I'm
and
saying I would take that over the hell that has been DeMello and Tennyson and Stollery. I mean, at least it's that whole thing of like dancing with the devil, and.
But he was gonna make if he stayed until you're paying Dan Boyle, who's a 6th, 7th defenseman on the Rangers. You're talking about paying him $5 million. That's crazy.
I didn't realize he was. I thought he was only making like $2 million a season.
No,
But
he
how
wanted.
much is he gonna get in Teal though?
Yeah, no, he
okay,
wanted.
then fuck that.
He wanted at most 3 years. Or he said he
wanted
wanted
a
between
2-year
2
deal.
and
Yeah.
2 and 3 years, and he was looking at at least 6. Is
Oh
what he wanted.
no. Okay, then no. Okay, that's vast overpayment. It was a good thing
Yeah.
that he left. But either way, coming down to that they, I'll take the journeyman at this point at less money than what Dylan is getting paid because Dylan is bringing really nothing to the party for what he's paid.
Nor DeMello, nor Tennyson, nor Mueller, whose confidence is just.
But those guys are getting paid about what they're worth.
Mueller didn't look half bad tonight. His game was okay tonight. It wasn't the greatest, I'll give you that, but it wasn't bad either. At least I saw him jump up a little bit.
Sorry, go ahead.
I'm just gonna say that 6th spot though is just not solidified, and you know what? I mean, we need another top 4 because it seems like all of our top 4 are pretty brittle now, and you guys have seen the record when one of them out. It's just, they don't grow on trees. I know that, but this is a position that Doug Wilson put himself in.
But because of what you'd have to pay to get one, I mean, I just feel like, it's kind of like a leaky ship where you plug one hole and then like another thing sprouts up from, over the left, and then you plug that hole and you have to run over and, plug another hole. Like, I just feel like you'd just be in an endless cycle of trying to plug holes because this team, the big problem with this team, in my opinion, is you have obviously you have the big guys on the contracts, and what you really need to do, in my opinion, is once those contracts are up, you need to let them go, and you need to clear up that space, and then you need to start trying to,
it would be nice
move on to the next phase. It
would be nice to try to
team.
get some sort of value of it instead of just letting him walk like they did with Nemo. But it's clearly, it's a defensive issue on my mind. Just when Couture was out, they still and granted there are more forwards, we know that, but it's that idea of like you lost a pretty big piece with Couture and you still played 500 hockey. Whenever you lose a top 4 defenseman who's out for a game, so far you win, I think, 13% of your games at this point. I think they're like 1-8 now when a top defenseman is out, or 1-7. So, somebody else can do the math on that at the percentages, but it's just that case of when they lose a forward or 2, whatever, they're still able to find somebody that's at least has some sort of ability that can try to plug that hole that you're talking about, or plug the leak. But you lose one of those top 4s, and it's just a sinking ship almost every single time.
But I just think so you plug that hole, and again you might plug the defense hole, and you might make a forward problem. My concern would be that I just think even if you plug that hole, this team isn't doing anything, and I just feel like again I know everyone has different expectations of what assets we have, but I'd just be concerned that we'd have to let because no one's going to take our garbage for a top 4 defenseman.
Right.
It's not like you'd be able to go here, have Nieto and Brown, and we'll take your top 4 defenseman. It's not going to happen. You're going to have to give up something worth having to get a top 4 defenseman, and is that what the Sharks really need to do at this point? Unless you're getting rid of one of the big 2 contracts, I don't think so.
I mean, look, Chris is kind of going off about what this team really needs is to take a break, and he needs a 3 to 5 year rebuild cycle. I agree, but I don't know that this market can handle it.
They can't handle it.
I'm going to say that the fans are already on that.
yeah, and you know what? I mean, there might be bigger issues here where if they do go into the tank, we might be looking at them moving. I mean, I don't want to start playing that chip again, but I'm serious. I mean, if
I wouldn't mind if they were honest about it.
Right.
If they came out and they said, look, we obviously tried, we did things that we thought were in the best interest of getting a cup, whether it was when they signed Campbell or Guerin or getting Joe Thornton, getting Dan Boyle, getting Danny Heatley, these pieces that they thought were going to help them and going to the playoffs for 10 consecutive seasons and whatnot. That's a pretty good stretch, and isn't it like the only team that has like a better record over that time or more playoffs is like Detroit or something? So yeah, just come out and say, look, this was we tried, we did what we could. So here's what we're going to do. Now we've got the plan or whatever, and of course Wilson has to back out. They need to just clear out the scouting staff, start fresh. And say, look, that was the first 25 years, and here we go. We don't expect to make the playoffs for the next couple of years because we're going to be trying to get some picks. We want to develop that. We want to change our developmental system to become competitive and whatnot. Just be honest about it. But to sit here and to do what they did last season, which was so transparently abhorrent. I mean, it was just when your marquee free agent signing is John fucking Scott, you might as well have just changed the Sharks crest to a white flag at that point. Just with uncle, I give a fucking surrender.
Yeah, that last year was inexcusable. It really was. It wasted a year of Thornton and Marlowe. It wasted a year of Prime Pavelski. It wasted a year of Burns. You rushed Mueller. You rushed Tierney. You rushed Nieto. Hurdle just coming back from a bad injury. I mean, it was inexcusable what he did, and I still hold that against him. I still hold last year against him, and I, for all of the good moves that he did last year, or all the good moves he did this last off season, he sure as hell didn't do that the year before, and it really cost them.
Okay, here's the thing though. For like all the talk of like, can the Sharks fan base, stomach a rebuild? Can they stomach being what Calgary was before they finally tore it down? Because that's, in my opinion, is worse. The constant, just trying to rebuild without really doing anything to just try and get in the playoffs for that, that one round of playoff revenue. Like I think you might piss off some Sharks fans if you go for a full-blown rebuild and we have to be, a shitty team like a Buffalo or an Edmonton. And granted, it doesn't always work, but at the same time, like, because of, who's in charge or whatever. But I think if Shark fans can't stomach that, like, look at the teams that have won and how they've won. That's how they did it. And yes, it doesn't work all the time, but we know for sure that nobody building the way that the Sharks are trying to build is going to win either.
Yeah. No, it's exactly right. And I think you also need to point out that look at what Anaheim did over the course of that time. Mm-hmm. They have a little, big shiny silver thing in their trophy chest.
Well, that's the thing, is that the other two have cups.
Yeah, but I'm pointing out just that Anaheim has similar history, being that they've been in the league just a year or two less.
Right, but I mean again, before when Anaheim was winning their cup, I mean it wasn't, the salary cap wasn't as tight as it is now. I mean they could bring in, it was still a time where trades still flowed and there was free agent signing, so you could bring in a Pronger and Niedermeyer and and then laugh all the way to the bank. I mean you can't do that now. Those players just aren't available.
Yeah.
You know what would be interesting, and I don't know that they'd ever do it, but they should have where if you trade for a pending unrestricted free agent, you shouldn't count against the cap. And so you could motivate some more moves being pushed across, because right now it's just so static.
Dude, a friend of mine, okay, let me preface this. We had some cocktails. Okay, let me just preface this. We had some cocktails, but we thought, what would be funny is if the NHL in a way to try to level the playing field, because we all know going into every season, every fucking year, the Sharks are going to travel more miles than any other team. That's called geography, kids. So what we're talking about is, say for shits and giggles, the salary cap is at $75 million, and the Sharks are going to travel. I'm just throwing arbitrary numbers out there, for example, but the Sharks that season are going to travel 36,000 miles, and they lead the league. And then you have, say, the Pittsburgh Penguins, who are going to travel 13,000 air miles. And my buddy and I we're talking about how it is kind of unfair because of all the travel, and you say, you know what would be great is if there was like a monetary penalty that if there were windows, so to speak. It's like, oh, you travel 16 to 18,000 miles this season, your salary cap is 62 million. But the ones that travel, like the top 5 who travel the most miles, their salary cap is 75 million. So they have more money to sign more players to try to combat all the air miles. And when we're 5 tequilas in, this was very funny and seemed to be it made a lot of sense at the time.
Oh no, I mean I think that at this point you do have to look at the mileage, and you do have to look at the amount of travel between teams, and yeah, I mean we always complain about it, but it still doesn't fix the fact that the Sharks are jetting around maybe 15 to 20,000 more miles than an Eastern Conference team. I mean, I don't know what you're going to do about it, because the East is always going to get preference. It's always going to have it. It's never going to be fair. So I mean, I don't know what the NHL would ever do. I don't think they even really care.
Well, did anybody just catch the end of Postgame? Well, of course, why would you? Because you're busy watching this. But apparently, Brody ended the show with, and that's Postgame Live. For Brody Brazil, I'm Curtis Brown. Good night.
Well, it pretty much sums up everything.
Yeah, even he's punchy.
Yeah.
I mean, it just to have the lead and then to fucking piss it away in a minute.
Yep.
It's.
They must have been tired, guys.
Typical fucking Sharks.
I'm so
They must have been tired.
Excuses.
They must have been really tired. You know what? And thank you, theroyalhalf.com, for this. Your heart doesn't get tired.
When did they tweet that?
This was years ago.
Oh,
but
yeah.
I mean, but
Well,
your heart doesn't get tired.
It's the old adage that we have heard about the Sharks for years, is the saying that should be on it. In fact, the Sharks should put out a teal shirt in big letters on the shirt that says, hard work beats skill when skill doesn't work hard.
Yeah.
It's exactly what the Sharks did to the St. Louis Blues in 2000.
But
The hard work of the Sharks beat the skill of the St. Louis Blues.
But here's the thing: it would be so tough for them to find a teal shirt. They would just put on black instead.
Or orange.
Yeah.
I'm sure there's a lot of orange shirts left over.
Yeah,
At the same time though, like the Oilers, I mean, yes, they're a crappy team divisionally, but there's a lot of pieces on there, and I know we've been saying with this for the Oilers for years and years and years and years, but I mean, Draisaitl has like 20-something points now, and Nilsson, despite the fact that their defense is still pretty shaky, has been pretty damn good. They're coming off I think they're on a 4-game winning streak now. I don't know, man. I mean, it's just like, again, the Pacific sucks, but at the same time, it's just like, these are teams that are on the rise, and that's the problem.
But
And
see, here's the other. Sorry, go ahead.
No, I'm just saying, like, these are teams on the rise, and the Sharks aren't going to be able to, just kind of coast in where, up to the top anymore. Like, these teams are going to start, like, the Coyotes are another one, like, you're starting to see the pieces they've piled up. And, what can you say that about the Sharks? Maybe if Goldobin's ready, I think Timo Meier is going to be fantastic. I think Timo Meier is going to be exactly what the Sharks need if they don't rush him. but like you
or
can't
put him in with
we
Sommer.
yeah, but but you can't really say that about anyone, you know. Like yeah, we brought in some nice signings, you know. You got like you can't really say that about Hurdle though. Like you can't compare a Hurdle to a Max Domi or you know, obviously, you know, leaving McDavid out of this because obviously McDavid's a once in a generation, you know, player. But like when you look at guys like Draisaitl, like you can't compare any of our guys to guys like that, and that should scare the hell out of a lot of people.
Yeah, no, I mean, there's a price for being good in
Yeah.
this league, and being good for so long, and quite frankly, pissing away your first round picks. This is, you know, you reap what you sow, and they're reaping it right now.
I mean, but it's not like the Sharks have been alone in this though. Like it's a pretty, you know, a lot of people mortgage the future to win now. I mean, it's just we didn't mortgage it properly.
But the problem is that you see everybody else getting better. You see Arizona getting better. You see Edmonton finally in a playoffs contention. You know,
Well,
you see, yeah. But let's put it this way here. I mean, they're sitting 2 points out right now.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, they might be one of the worst teams in the league, but yeah, they're sitting 2 points out right now. Let's be real here. I mean, what is there to light a fire under the ass of these guys? Because right now they aren't showing anything. There's absolutely no. Tell me one good thing about this team right now.
I liked Hurdle's play. That's about it.
I also like Hurdle. I need the picture, but I like Hurdle's kid.
I mean, okay, let's look at tonight. Donskoy had a good game.
Yeah.
I like Milker.
Milker looked good. I think Hurdle looked good. Mueller didn't look half bad. That's about it. I mean, I didn't like Ward's game. He passed up a 3-on-2 to try and pull up, and instead of getting the puck on net, he decides to pull up and curl back on the half boards. Pavelski was okay, but I didn't like I haven't liked him and Thornton together for the longest time. For the last at least 10 games, they haven't looked, you know, near where they did. I mean, not maybe 5 or 6, but you know, right now it seems like the kids are doing a lot of the heavy lifting, and the superstars or your core veterans are not pulling their weight. I mean, Marleau looked decent, but again, he only looked better after he was pushed back to center, which I think, in my mind, he needs to stay at center all year.
I'm game for that. I mean, hell, when Couture gets back, if he comes back, why don't you put him on the wing? I mean, after all, that's kind of where he started, because we have so many centers on this team.
Well, okay, and Generation X-Wing, the GIF master, Photoshop master, already put up a little graphic for us, and I will post that right this second.
Dude, I want that. Dude, it's so gotta get that.
So there you go. The Sharks already waving the white flag this year. You know, putting it all in perspective, despite how bad they've played, they're still in 3rd place. And
for now.
I'm sorry, you're gonna have to give me a minute while I make this my new Facebook cover photo.
Oh gosh.
I mean, it's only by the grace of God that they're in the worst division right now, but still, they're in 3rd place. I mean, you just gotta hope that they figure it out.
Can I emphasize how bad this division is? When you look at the 20 through 30, 5 of those teams are in the Pacific Division.
There we go. There's your standings as of this moment. Vancouver's victory vaults them into the 2nd spot. San Jose has 28 points. Arizona...
We have 29.
Or 29? Who gives a fuck?
Who cares? Whatever.
Like it matters, because I mean, we're
if Arizona wins again, they will pass us. Yeah, with Rowe. There you go, Gen X.
Hell, I
Really?
think I need to join Gen X whenever you say row because I need a shot. Unfortunately, I got to go to work at 5 a.m. But who gives a shit? Because why? I give more effort than the Sharks did tonight. Back to you, Landy.
I think they actually look better tonight than they did last night. But
Oh, that's for sure. But, you know, it was pretty easy to be better than they were last night.
yeah,
That wasn't saying much.
yeah. Well, when do I ever say much on this?
That's
No,
for sure.
no, I mean,
I'm
it's not,
not done talking yet.
their effort last night was just so piss poor. You know, just the microcosm of getting 1 point out of a trip where you should have gotten at least 3 points is ridiculous.
Absolutely.
It's fucking ridiculous.
Absolutely.
And this is and like I've said before, this is the time when you lose your spot in the division. This is the time where you piss away what good you did, and now that 6-game sweep of a road trip is kind of in the rearview mirror now because you've pissed it away.
Like the good old song Chumbawamba, pissing the night away.
Well, you know what the funny thing is that remember how much last season Doug Wilson, how many times we heard about, oh, well, at the end of January we beat Chicago and then Anaheim and LA, and then just in that February it came apart, and we had built up all that momentum, or we had put enough points in the jar that we just emptied out the jar in February, and it's kind of like the exact same thing. You built up all that good shit on the road with that 6-game roadie, and then you've just turned around and went, yep, full stream, man, just letting it go.
Yeah, the fact that they're fucking 4-8 at home is just so piss poor.
The worst home record in the NHL.
I mean,
And how is that supposed to entice anybody to go see them?
Well, it's all the fans' fault.
Have a perfect team up the road.
fuck, Colorado's got more points at home than we do. Hell, I mean, Columbus has more points at home than we do.
Columbus is on the verge of catching up with us in points.
Carolina has more points at home than we do. Carolina has 2 more victories and 3 overtime losses at home. It's just it's.
I'm sorry, I'm getting a kick. I just looked at a couple of comments people saying the Sharks need a goalie. It just makes me want to.
Oh, are you kidding me? Okay.
Yeah, I know. It's just like you just want to turn around and just start walking into a wall.
Well, yeah, let's bring back Nemo then, right?
Those are the
Nemo. I mean,
those are the same ones that yell.
the best team in the league.
They're the same ones that yell shoot. Same ones that yell shoot every time during a power play.
All right,
well,
listen.
for crying out loud, I mean, they need to shoot. But
You know what I'm saying, dude.
Jumbo.
You understand the point, dude. You don't have to go off on it. You understood the point.
Yeah.
I mean, you look at the power play tonight. It was just anemic.
Which is what it's been almost all season.
Sorry, Ian.
Shoot.
Go ahead, Ian. I walked on you.
That's all right. I'm just saying, like, for anyone who thinks that goaltending is the issue, look, I understand that, obviously, there's a couple of those shots that maybe you want Jones to stop, but those are, like, Jones really, those were some hard shots that he let in tonight. Like, a good goalie's going to let those in. But, I mean, I don't know, where's this goalie going to come from? You already spent a first-round pick to get Jones, and Jones's number have been good. I mean, he's a 9.2 save percentage, 9.220 save percentage, I think. Maybe a little bit down now. But, I mean, he's been good. He's not really the problem here. The problem is the defense and everything else. Jones is actually one of the only things this team got right this summer.
Yep,
like,
I would totally agree with you.
Right too. But, goaltending is the one thing that really the Sharks kind of have set going forward. And if you're going to just throw it at the goaltending, I mean, what, you want Nemo back? Nemo and his what, like, just over 9.0 save percent, like 0.90 save percentage? Like, give me a break.
No, I think what fans are expecting is the fucking ghost of Terry Sawchuk. I mean, besides Stalock, who we've talked about, and there are some times when we can place blame on the defense, and sometimes it's him. Besides him, the goaltending is fine.
Yep.
The goaltending is completely fine. It's
imagine what his numbers would be if he had a decent defense in front of him.
Right. I mean, I don't know how many times we can say you can't give up fucking prime shots in the slot before you get burnt.
Right.
And you saw
I said it on Facebook yesterday in the Sharks room. I was saying, bro, Marty Brodeur, Ron Hextall, and Patrick Waugh in their primes would not be putting up numbers with this defense.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And the great point out is Nemo won last night, and he didn't even make a save.
Yeah, I mean, Niemi's won a ton of games where he's allowed 3 goals, and Dallas has been able to just outscore their problems. I mean, you're not going to win, like especially come playoffs. Like, I like watching Dallas, and I kind of want Dallas to win because the NHL is such a copycat league, and Dallas is so fun to watch. But come playoffs, man, they're not going to be able to outscore their issues because, A, you don't get as many power plays in the playoffs, and B, you just everything tightens up. Like, you're not going to get all those opportunities. They're going to be in trouble come playoffs if they can't.
If they
Stop
play
allowing 3 goals a game.
if they play Chicago, St. Louis, or LA, they are going to get swept the way that they're playing now. They're going to get swept.
To win so bad.
Going to Martin Jones, he's 12-9 with a .920 save percentage. That's a 17th ranked in the league. His goals against is at 2.28. That's good for 16th in the league. He's allowed 46 goals, which is the 12th most in the league right now.
Yeah, but if the problem with that is the problem with that is NHL.com doesn't really, like, when you're looking at the stats, is they don't take into consideration how many games other goalies have played. If you took it of goalies, I believe, that have played 20 or more games, that would bump his save percentage to 8th.
Yeah, no, I don't, and like I said before, I don't think goaltending is the issue here. I mean, hell, even if the forwards did a better job in the defensive zone, it would help clean up a lot of the issues that are playing in the Sharks. Right now, I just don't think that a lot of the forwards are putting in the effort to back check. You look at last night when Hurdle just got smoked on the back check and allowed that goal. And you look at Jumbo kind of gliding through his back check.
God,
the only one that I'm
Gliding through.
the one person that I see consistently back check, actually 2, is Donskoy and Carlson. Consistently put the motor on. And Carlson the most, because I see him huffing and puffing his legs. I saw it tonight. He chose to not shoot on the net, and it went back the other way, and it developed into a 3-on-2. That kid hustled his ass so much that he got back into the defensive zone and was able to put a good play on. And that's the kind of effort I want to see out of Pavelski, out of Jumbo, and I want to see that out of Marleau. Because right now I'm just not seeing it.
Wasn't Carlson one of the guys Sommer benched for a period when he was with the Barracuda?
I'm sure. Yeah, I'm sure he did. Who doesn't he bench?
Oh, that's my point taken right there. Is that the guy is working his ass off, but our development coach benches him. Back to you, Landy.
No, I mean, for some kids it works. I mean, you look at Gaudreau and you look at how he's responded to the benching, and from all accounts, he kind of took it personally, and now he's bounced back in a big way, and shown some real growth. So that's good. But some kids just can't react. They just don't react well to that. And like you do that to a kid like Goldobin and you crush his confidence, you're going to crush his offensive spirit as well.
Kind of like how they've crushed Mueller's defensive.
Yeah. And he looks neutered out there.
Yeah, exactly. The same thing with Tierney or Long Beach native Matt Nieto.
Oh, and what's up with him? Is he just healthy scratched, or was he?
Yeah, they had to put Brown back in the lineup because clearly Brown was in the lineup we lost, so Brown has to go back in.
That's right.
And the thing is how good did Tierney look last night when he didn't have anchors weighing him down, and then you put Brown back out there, and all of a sudden, boom, fourth line looks like dog shit again.
Fuck, he looked good tonight. I mean, he pushed play when he had Wingles and Donskoy on his line. He looked really
you
good.
know what I mean.
Exactly, though. But that's the point. Is that you
Fourth
had to
line,
wait
though.
for.
Like, penalties aside last night, because they definitely took a few too many penalties. But aside from that, that was probably one of the best lines on the ice last night.
Yeah.
It doesn't say much.
Yeah, I agree.
And they also got a goal too. But remember, we're misguided, and we need thumpers out there. We need some.
You know, like usually when we do this, we usually get a fair amount of interaction on the Twitter machine, and man, it's like fans have got that white flag rolling, man. It's like they just fucking given up. They're like,
Yeah,
fuck it.
and it's 28 weeks of the season, and I'm looking just in my timeline itself. I do not see the last Sharks-related tweet on my timeline is Brody Brazil calling himself the wrong name on TV.
Yeah, I mean, Gen X sent me that graphic 13 minutes ago, and the previous to that, it was Brandon Quinlog, Raiderman 94, 34 minutes ago.
Yeah. Well, of course, we do have to take it to the tweets with our favorite tweeter, Slushy Jake, wanting to ask the room why everybody hates Kevin Kurz. I will let the panel have at it. Go ahead.
So Kevin Kurz posted an article.
You're like, okay, so
Kevin Kurz posted an article. What I guess that was against Anaheim, the day that we played Anaheim, basically calling out bloggers, pretty much everybody
people on social media
who gives him shit about why the fourth line is so bad with the sluggers in it, and he just basically said that we were misguided.
Yeah.
And what happens? The Anaheim Ducks score when the fourth line is on the ice, and it's their fourth line who scores the goal. Mm-hmm. And so then everybody is like, Kurz, did you see that? And he responds to no one. And then the next night, he doubles down on his idiotic comments and basically just calls it out again and says that the coaching staff knows what they're doing. And if you watched the game last night when Tierney had competent line mates, guess what the fuck happened? He scored!
Yeah, I and the thing was that, like, the time that they played in the Anaheim game, like, Haley was on the ice for 3 minutes, Brown was on the ice for 6, Zubrus got 10 because he kills penalties. Like, if that is a good fourth line, I mean, what the hell do I know? I don't hate Kurz. I just sometimes he can be kind of obnoxious. That's all.
I hear he has a cameo in the newest Netflix series.
Yes, and Gen X was busy while we were kind of off on a rant there, and now I see why. I must tip my hat to you, good sir. Job well done.
Man, that's fantastic.
Job well done.
I will say no comment about Kurz and just leave it at that.
Yeah, I mean, for me, I don't have too much of a problem. I mean, that he's, at least it's not what we used to have around here with when Skip Bayless was here, and obviously he's gone on to ESPN from the Mercury News, but when
dear God, when Ray Ratto was the
Well,
insider.
see, I was about to get to that. It's that, you know what, I would take Kurz over, Ray just win the game Ratto and Skip Bayless, who clearly, at least Kurz is trying, at least in my eyes, is trying to bring something to the party. At least if he saw something at practice, anything like that, he'll try to tweet about it. He'll try to put that into an article. When you look at the crap that Ratto throws against the wall when it comes to hockey, I mean, his whole look at his byline on CSA. It's called, the whole deal is the miserable list. It's all from this point of view of, I hate life and everything sucks and blah blah blah, and it's shtick, and you use shtick as a crutch when you're bringing nothing else to the party, just like Skip Bayless does. It's it's that same type of thing. So I'll give Kurz some due on that. I don't see him, throwing just randomly throwing shit at the wall like a monkey, looking for something, waiting for something to stick that he can then turn around and pat himself on the back and say, I was the first one to have this, like you see with Ray Ratto. I mean, Jesus Christ.
Cough, cough, Marlo. Cough, cough, Marlo.
When you're fucking, Tim Kawakami, that's another one, who, is known for writing this huge article about the Sharks should trade Marlo now. And, of course, the following year, Marlo had the best season he's ever had. So it's like, good call, Tim. And, he'll never admit to that. But either way, it was just loving Remenda calling out Ratto when he was on TV. And I love the fact that Ratto no longer covers the Sharks, because some of the shit that he would say on pre- and post-game was some of the dumbest shit ever. You could feel yourself losing IQ points. It was ridiculous. It was lame. Thank God that at least they have people that have actually played the game now, like Curtis Brown and whatnot. But yeah, Ratto, when you're known for all the shit that you've ever done Sharks related, the thing that you're known for is saying, well, they should just win the game. Yeah, you got problems, man.
So we have a first time, long time tweeting in at us, Charlie Kreiderman at Pavs323. He asks, what do you guys think about Julius Bergman? Well, let me tell you, if Julius Bergman got as much time playing as Mark Kandari, he'd do well, but he hasn't, because we have the defensive mastermind Royce Sommer at the helm of the Barracuda.
Well, you know what? Here's the thing. I watched Bergman a lot when he was in London, and there's times where Bergman you'd be like, wow, like, what did he just do? And then there was times where you're like, wow, what the fuck did he just do? But yeah, I mean, if the AHL is supposed to be our top development system, it took way too long for Bergman to start drawing into the lineup. He's a project. I'm not going to lie. The guy's a project. He's going to take time. He's not, he's one of these guys where I think that he might need a little more time than Shark fans will be willing to give him.
But that's the point, though.
Paging Conrad Abdelhauser.
He's in Peoria now?
Yeah.
But here's the thing. Why are we drafting guys that are going to be projects when we need guys to be up here now?
Because you can't draft defensemen that expect to be up there now unless you're drafting in the top 5.
Then
you just can't expect it.
Then why aren't we going after more defensemen in the free agent market outside of Paul Martin?
Because what good defensemen get to the UFA? Not much.
No. Well, if you do, and if they do, you get paid for. You end up overpaying for them. Do you really want to? Did you really want to give Niskanen $5 million for whatever years? Like.
Well, I mean, I don't know.
Here's my thing. I'm not trying to start a rant between me and Ian because I like Ian.
Do it. We need the ratings. Do it.
No, my point is that if these guys are going to take forever to develop, what are you going to sit around and you don't want to go after and overpay people? We overpaid Brad Stewart. We overpaid Nicholas Walling. I would say, even though he only got $1.5 million, you overpaid Colin White. You overpaid for Jim Vandermeer. You didn't give a damn about Ian White for the sake of his sanity. You was a semi-decent defenseman, and you just go, we don't need him. What do we got? Oh, we got that good old guy, Nick Petrecki, coming up in our system. He'll be just fine.
Well, I mean, so then what are we going to say? What more are we going to say besides that DW has had his thumb up his ass for defensemen? I mean, literally, that's all we can say. He hasn't done anything.
Again, with Petrecki, though, too, another thing with Petrecki was if the game basically changed as we drafted Petrecki. We had no idea we were going to have to stop, water skiing into the defensive zone on the back of a forward. I mean, under the old way, Petrecki might have actually panned out.
They knew that when the whole rules changed, that Hannon can't, clutch and grab, water ski, and all that crap. That's why Rafty didn't last long after the canceled season. That's why somehow Hannon lasted, and he was much less of a decent defenseman. I mean, come on. This is ridiculous. Go out if you know that you can't get decent. You're not going to draft defensemen because your draft and development team sucks more than a freaking Dyson vacuum cleaner. Yeah, sponsor, by the way. I mean, for crying sakes, go out and spend some money. You know.
But the players aren't. There's
And
no one
be
to spend
smart.
money on.
That's the point. They don't know what to spend their money on.
But because there isn't anyone to spend money on. Like, you don't get a Shea Weber on the open market. Ryan Suter was you know, I mean, yeah, he went on the open market, but other than Ryan Suter, I can't think of any big-name defensemen that have ever really hit the open market. Everyone drafts their guys and they lock them up.
I'm not saying
we got
defenseman, though.
AJ, what's the GIF?
We got it. It's not a GIF. It's just a meme. Just a bit for a little humor here. The Dallas Stars clearly screwing with the with the Blackhawks fans that showed up tonight. It says, "Our faces when you wear Blackhawks sweater to a Dallas Stars Carolina Hurricanes game." I give it up to Dallas. You know what? I've seen them. They've come up with some pretty inventive ways to kind of troll some of the fans. You know, live on their jumbotron. They've come up with some good stuff. They're pretty funny up there, or I should say down there.
Meanwhile, the Sharks are too afraid to show anybody on their jumbotron.
Oh, unless it's the Simba Cam.
Oh, Simba Cam! Oh, circle life! Oh, yeah, whoop-de-frickin' do. Back to you, Landy.
I wasn't even saying anything, but I mean, Chris says the Wild have won a ton of cups since 2010 or 2012, whatever. I mean, I agree, but still, I mean, what defensive gem have you brought in the last 10 years besides Dan Boyle? And let's face it, he wasn't that great in his own end. I mean, he was decent, but
that's what he was there for. I mean, you're not.
Boyle was there to be more of an offensive threat. That's absolutely the case.
Maybe since what the hell, Rob Blake, maybe that was the last best signing besides Martin.
Yeah, I would guess so. But I mean, that was at the end of the road. Yeah. But that's the thing. They don't want to spend money on free agents up until this past year, and that's the big problem. Oh, we want to develop. Well, you can't develop shit because you have a shitty ass coach who hasn't developed crap and hasn't made the playoffs in 4 seasons. So tell me, what are you developing? Crap. Back to you, Landy.
I just saw the pic that AJ Strong so happily provided to me, so I'll put that up. This one's actually pretty funny. This is
the Dallas scoreboard during a Rangers-Dallas game. The all-time greatest Rangers. My 2 favorites, of course, being Nolan Ryan of the Texas Rangers and, of course, Night Ranger.
Oh, come on. Kimberly the Pink Ranger was hot back then.
That's pretty fucking brilliant, though.
Yeah.
The fucking Dallas knows how to troll, bro.
Yeah, I think Dallas has the corner market for in stadium, and I think that LA has probably got the corner market on the snarky Twitter. They are the ones who started it.
Dude, Gen X.
Dumb fuck douchebag Twitter. Then they got that cup wrapped up.
Dude, Gen X pointing out, no, the best defenseman that the Sharks have ever brought in, of course, is Doug Wilson.
Well, maybe that's the conspiracy that he doesn't want to get anybody better than him.
With that, let's focus on the next game, guys. Which a quarter of the Shark Pack holders will have tickets to, thanks to John Tortora. Minnesota Wild.
It's going to be a loss. So we're at home. That wasn't a joke.
No, you don't get it.
That should have been cha-ching.
Yeah, no, I mean, look, you're losing twice as amount. Wow.
Twice as much.
Thank you. as you're losing.
Oh man, dude, just
Oh,
go
boy.
have a beer, bro. Go have a beer.
Yeah, apparently.
The best part, of course, about Saturday night is that it is Mike Rathje night, and we all remember what an incredibly fast defenseman he is. Rathje will be there, of course, to do the puck drop, like we've seen recently from Brian Marchman and Ryan Clough. Rumor is that Rathje has begun making his way to center ice right now, so he will, in fact, get there in time for puck drop on Saturday.
Is he on a PTO?
Yeah, seriously. I mean, we
Yeah,
could
it's a
sign
personal timeout.
At this point, the shit that's coming from the development system, we might as well have Rathje as the assistant coach because they aren't developing crap. It's just so sickening that we're. I don't mean to make mean of the guy, but tell me what Rathje's known for. Oh, that's right, giving the puck to Joe Sakic twice in a playoff series when we had a chance to sweep the Avalanche and have a week's rest going to destroy Calgary. But no.
Dude, this will be like the one time this entire season when they do the opening puck drop that Pavelski won't win because Rathje will have found a way to screw it up. Rathje will have found a way to give it away to the visiting team.
It's just so ridiculous. But let's be real here. Outside Clough and Larionov and Urbe, they pretty much are doing alumni nights for everybody that's local, correct?
Yeah, well, they're gonna do what? Sturm and Ricci and
Scott Thornton was local.
Yeah, but he's got a tie with the team.
Yeah, but Sturm doesn't, right?
Yeah, Sturm's in Germany, I thought.
And what about Friesen?
Yeah, but he can just
Friesen's
start
in
over with Hasso.
Oh,
yeah, exactly.
Uh,
That's the point. There are a lot of them that are just with the team. Oh, it's like, hey, just put the jersey on and drop the puck. I mean, it's like a half-assed celebration.
I miss you, Igor. I miss you, Igor. Where are you?
I'm still waiting for Mark Bell night when beers are half off.
Oh.
Too soon? Too soon?
Oh, man. I hate everything.
Too soon?
I've decided.
No, I think it would be, I think it would be even better is when we have Mark Havlat night where everybody leaves with a free pulled groin.
Oh,
Martin Havlat. God, that guy was a fucking waste. God, he wasted good air.
My favorite. Pat Falloon night. Everybody leaves 20 pounds heavier.
Oh.
Everybody
Free hot dogs. Free hot dogs for everybody.
Come on. What about our greatest first-round pick in franchise history? Andre Nazarov.
Nice.
Free vodka shots for everyone.
Yeah, and beat the crap out of everybody. You're
Yep.
supposed to be a power forward goal scorer. You turn into a goon. Back to you, Landy.
Back to you, Andy.
Look who decided to drop in on Twitter. Mr. Kevin Kurz, who had been silent for 2 hours, finally comes back with...
Well, he was on the air, bro.
Deboron Couture injury, I've got it at lower body, and that's all I'm going to keep it at right now.
They basically just repeated the same thing Pashelka said an hour ago.
Yeah.
Wow. Way to break news there, Kersey. All the way from Edmonton. Oh, wait, that's right. You didn't go on the trip.
Oh, man. How about Danny Heatley night where we all get to kill a friend afterwards?
Oh, wow.
Oh.
Too soon? Too soon?
No.
Yeah. Is that before or after we all do a bunch of coke?
Yeah. It could be both. Dude, that's what. And then of course, it's a case of we have the night where you honor rivalry honor night, and we can. That one, when we play the LA Kings, you leave with a gram of coke.
Wow.
That would be nice. After you're locked out of
locked
out of a dressing room for a game.
No.
Is this before or after we get beaten?
Rivalry honor night. That would mean that the Sharks go up 3-0 in the game.
No. Yeah, we go up 3-0 and then we get beaten 4-3.
Mm-hmm.
That's why I was asking. Do we get beaten at that game again, like always? And what? I don't even know.
All I have to say is I hope Couture has a thicker helmet and Hurdle is wearing a thicker shin pads to cover his knees.
Okay. Well, shit.
Yeah. With that, anything else you guys want to add?
No.
I mean, why bother? Who cares?
Yeah.
Why bother? I mean, why should we give a wholehearted effort if the Sharks can't, right? I will say this. You guys, and I'm talking about the Sharks, need to get your heads out of your asses and quick because this is getting old. I mean, I know we're celebrating 25th anniversary, but we don't need to go back to when Greg Jameson was running the team and have break-even fever, which is what the Sharks team has at 14, 13, and 1. That's right. We've won exactly half of our games.
See, I feel like the Sharks are doing their best to honor the history, and so what they're going to do is that they're going to lose another 6 consecutive games, and then they're going to trade Thornton, just like they did 10 years ago.
There you go.
You lose 10 games, and then you make a Thornton trade. This time, we're trading him away.
Bye, Jumbo.
Well, they're already doing a good job by not selling any tickets, so trading Thornton will just make that even better.
Oh, and then we'll have to rely upon AJ solely.
That's right. Oh, it's time for the meme.
Is it?
There you go.
Time for the meme.
All right.
Yeah, come on, Landy, get the. It's about AOL, bitches.
Oh no.
I was thinking this one.
Yeah, it was the tie. It was the tie.
No, what we were talking about is that one right there.
It was the tie.
Forget Burnsying. We'll just do the AJing.
Dude, you really don't want to start this war, bro. You really don't want to start this war. You are swimming so far out of your fucking depth right now.
AJ, what I'm trying to say
really don't want to start this.
No. What I'm saying is that we're doing that expression because that team looks like shit. Ooh.
Well, a little bit. Okay, well then you got to update your meme, bro. Because I'm like, dude, I've grown for the last 25 years. I've been a paid professional smart ass at every nightclub I've ever worked at.
All right. Well, before this degenerates into Eric versus AJ, let's call this a night, shall we?
All right. Sharks lose. What else is new? They play Saturday, where they might lose. What else is new?
They might lose.
No, they probably will lose. Statistically, they are more likely to lose than win.
We'll be back here talking about another Sharks loss, maybe. Wow. Who knows?
Positivity, I love it.
Don't stop believing, baby.